Hey noble ones, welcome back to my channel. This is the Metatron speaking, and today I'm going to check out a video that I just found called Spanish versus Portuguese, how similar are they? And I think this is gonna be great. It's from World Friends. Of course, you'll find a link in the description below. I won't be watching the entire episode, I'll be reacting to most of it, but then again, if you want more, of course, go check out the original channels. But here's the thing, what I wanted to do today is make it into Spanish versus Portuguese versus Italian, because being an Italian native speaker, I thought, hey, let's see what the words are in Spanish and Portuguese, and then I'll add the Italian one for context, so we'll see if I'm closer to Spanish or if I'm closer to Portuguese. So without further ado, this is gonna be great. Let's jump into it.
Okay, repeat it again. Excelente.
Yeah, it means excellent.
Excelente.
We don't pronounce the X.
You make your limit. You drink a lot.
You drink a lot.
Spanish people have a lot of slangs for being drunk.
Yeah, that's true.
So do we?
Hello, I'm
Hi.
Daniela from Brazil.
I'm Andrea from Spain.
I'm Metatron from Italy.
But the most difficult part about learning Spanish is the portuñol. I'm gonna say words in Portuguese that I think are Spanish, but are actually Portuguese with a Spanish accent.
I think for me it will be the pronunciation.
Same,
Portuguese
same.
is really rounded and soft.
Yeah.
And I think it's difficult.
The singing a Brazilian sounds so beautiful.
I agree.
Because I really
for it.
like acabou.
Oh, nice. What am I gonna sing? O sole mio?
Oh, sweet.
O sole mio. Sta in fronte a te.
So sweet, so sweet. I love it. Your voice is
They're lovely. Okay, let's go. Word differences between Spanish and Brazil. Woohoo.
In Spanish we say vino.
In Portuguese, we say vinho.
In Italian, we say vino, so exactly the same as Spanish.
Vinho.
See, it's softer. It's so much softer.
I like Spanish a lot. I think sometimes in Portuguese we take Spanish words and we put an H in between.
When you put the H,
It changes.
it changes, but the sound is like, or ñ.
Yeah, sounds like a
Vino.
Vinho.
vino.
Yeah, it's different.
Well, I can recognize it. I can recognize it.
Sounds like a name.
Vinho, yes.
Korean.
name. We have this H thing that if the H is after a C or after an N, after L, many letters, it changes the sound.
I see.
So you read them together.
We have a similar thing in Italian, actually, so I understand where she's coming from, in the sense that in Italian you have the C, right? And normally it's pronounced K when it's followed by the vowels A, O, U, but if it's followed by vowels I or E, then it's pronounced Ch in Italian. I believe we are the only Romance language that does that, but I might be wrong. I'm sure you'll let me know. You're lovely like that. You'll correct me. But still, if you want the C to make a K sound in Italian when it's followed by I and E, then you need an H. And therefore, C plus H in Italian transforms it into a K sound. So I understand where she's coming from. We have a similar situation. Let's go.
It's not vinho, but
Of
the
course.
N gets together with H and we have this sound. Instead of no, it's gno.
To do that in Italian, we would do it with GN. So if you see GN in Italian, the sound is ñ, just like the N with a little diacritic on top.
No. Yeah.
Vino.
You need to do this with a hand?
Now I understand why you say it's different from ño, the Spanish ño.
A little bit, yeah.
Ño is more
Nasal.
yeah.
Okay, next. Ooh. Oh,
And in
nice.
Spanish, we say goma de borrar. We just
Oh, that's
say
long.
goma normally.
Really? Goma? Like as in goma? De borra?
Because it's plastic and chewy.
It's
right?
like a gum of,
Yeah, goma.
borracha. So in Portuguese we say borracha.
Borracha.
Borracha. Completely different. In Italian is gomma. It's just so, it's the same as Spanish, but to me, the way she pronounced it, it sounds like it's as if it was spelled with one single M, because she says gomma. It's very soft. We would say gomma, so we strengthen it because the M, because it's double, right? So in order for me to pronounce it like she does, it would have to be spelled with a single M. But apart from that, once again, we're a lot closer to, I would not recognize the Portuguese word.
So the double R has the ha sound. The
Yeah,
H
that's so
sound
cool.
in English.
That's so cool.
That's why instead of borracha, we read borracha.
Borracha.
It's
I love
difficult
it.
for you to pronounce Ra?
Nah,
No.
nah, they can do everything. Portuguese and Brazilian, so yeah, can do anything.
We have some words,
They
but
do.
it's just not this case. Because
Yeah.
sometimes we have one R, sometimes we have the bar. In this case, the
Yeah.
bar, so it's H sound.
H
For
sound,
me
cool.
has another another meaning.
I believe even single R can have an H sound. The way I understand it, it's Rio de Janeiro. So I think it depends. Well, I'm not going to try and pretend I know Portuguese rules, so whatever. Let's see.
A girl that drunk a lot.
Really?
I'm drunk,
So,
está
borracha, está borracha. Oh, that's so interesting because in Italian, now that I think about it, I don't know why it took me so long to recognize that, but borracha in Italian is like a little canteen that you fill with water. We call that borracha. Yeah, that is crazy. I don't know, an explorer takes on a mountain trip and then they open it, drink a little water. That's a borracha.
Borracha, but it's feminine. I will ask my friend.
You
Are
say
you drunk?
borracho?
Borracho is the masculine.
Of course, yeah.
And borracha is a feminine.
Oh, let's see. This is fun.
In Spanish we say mono.
In Brazil,
Really?
we say macaco. But
Seriously. So wait, a mono, I would not recognize it. So a monkey in Italian is scimmia, so completely different in this case. But she said macaco. I mean, macaco, yes, if it's like the type, if you want to be specific, like a baboon, a gorilla. So yeah, I would also say macaco, but in general, the umbrella term for all forms of monkeys in general, or maybe ape even, but I would say monkey in Italian is scimmia.
But you said
Macaco.
mono was like how you talk about someone cute and
Yeah, that is
Seriously?
slang.
so it's
Like-
you're literally calling
Yeah,
them
because
macaco.
mono has, we saw in another program that mono has many
no.
meanings. Yeah, it's a word like
That's
a
great.
little bit
That's
more
great.
complex. But everybody, the first meaning is going to be monkey, is going to be macaco. But also macaco for me is familiar. It's not something weird. Macaco also has sense.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, she said.
I appreciate it.
I think it's also. I think in Spanish we
In
use
Spanish.
maybe
Maybe more like a scientific word.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I'm wrong, but I have the impression of listening in some like documentary, like
Yeah, I don't think it's like scientific necessarily. It's just the type of monkey. So you're like being a little specific. Let's see the next one. Are we going for colors?
chimpanzé,
Chimpanzé.
orangutan.
There we go. Yeah.
In Spanish we say morado.
In
Really?
Portuguese, we say roxo.
Oh, that's crazy. These are completely different. For me, this is viola. Now, it's interesting because in English, would you say purple for that? Because we do have the word porpora in Italian, but it's usually when it's like the red version, the reddish version of purple, if you will. So this is more a violet for us, so we say viola. But these two, the Portuguese one sounds more like red, and her version I would not recognize at all.
I guess you were not expecting them.
Yeah.
Roxo.
Roxo.
Instead of
Roxo.
roxo.
Yeah, I would say
Roxo.
roxo or roxo.
Same.
Roxo, I would say, I guess.
Same.
Morado, does it come from like living? Do you have the verb morar?
No, I understand.
Because in Portuguese, morado comes from like morar. Do you understand that word?
Yeah, but we don't
I
use
don't.
it. I mean, morado for us normally is more the color.
The color.
And it's
Fascinating.
also use it in the slang. For example, you
Of
eat
course.
a lot or you drink a lot.
It's always about
and
drinking.
They say to you, oh, te has puesto morado. Like
okay.
you
Morado.
make your limit. You drink a lot.
They're great.
Yeah.
I think Spanish people have a lot of slangs for
Yeah.
being drunk.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Go.
In Spanish, we say excelente.
In Portuguese, we say excelente.
Excelente. Excelente, I think she said. In Italian, it's eccellente. So, yeah, we drop the X.
Okay, repeat it again.
Excelente.
Excelente. I'm
We don't
horrible with
pronounce the
Yeah, same in
the
Italian,
X.
we drop the
It's
X.
just excelente.
It's like an S.
It's like an S, yeah. Our X is like an S.
Haha.
Excelente. How do you pronounce the C?
Se.
Se, you see, that's one thing. In Italian, it's a ch. That's why I was saying maybe we are I shouldn't say the only Romance language, but maybe the only major Romance language, because then you have all of the different subdialects and small languages. You don't really know if it's a dialect or if it's a language. Does it have a navy? Does it not have a navy? You know, that kind of discussion. But yeah, as the major languages, I believe we are the only ones that do that. What do Romanians do? Do they pronounce the C as a S as well? Because that's, I think, like the S sound is the most common.
Excelente. Probably similar pronunciation, but we spell it with a nas. Esquisita means like weird. You know that? Oh, like
really?
Strange, weird. Like.
Okay, next word. So if you want the details, do watch the original. But we're going into fruit.
Then it doesn't mean that, and I'm like, damn it.
Let's go.
In Spanish, we say sandia.
In Portuguese, we say melancia.
Love both. Now, Italian is going to blow your mind, because in standard Italian, there are two words to describe this, of course. Either you call it anguria or you call it cocomero. Now, I have no idea. Maybe if you're a botanist, you will be like, no, there is a slight difference in this and that. Italians don't know that, okay? So if you're just a regular Italian speaker, people will either call it anguria or cocomero. I believe anguria is more common. However, if you're from Sicily like me, you have another word for it, because we don't use neither anguria nor cocomero, which is standard. We say melone. In fact, some people even say melone d'acqua, but in general, melone. So basically, just like in English, watermelon. So in English, you say melon. In Sicilian, you say melone. In fact, mellone, if you want to say it with the accent, because we strengthen the L, even though it's only one, and we shouldn't, but we do, because we are Sicilians, so we love strengthening consonants. And so we would say mellone, mellone, pigliu mellone, amone, mellone, mellone. Yeah. So strangely, isn't that fascinating, though? Yeah. My dad, he's from the north. He's lived in Sicily for 40 years. He still calls it anguria. Like, there's no way to convince him. Because in standard Italian, if you say melone, then you usually mean either the cantaloupe or like the yellow melon. That's like honeydew. That's what standard Italian means when you say melone rather than this.
Melancia. Sounds like melon, but with a feminine touch.
That's what it is.
That's a cute way to say it.
I do think it comes from something like that.
That is less harder to pronounce.
Because it kind of sounds Spanish, melancia, doesn't it?
Melancia. Well, I think we don't pronounce the A.
Right.
Like, I will say more plain sound. Like
okay, that's it when it comes to vocabulary.
I have to change a little.
Well, okay, I kind of want to keep it short a little bit, but I thought that this was really, really fun, how the differences are between Italian, Spanish and Portuguese. But I will be posting a video very soon where I will be discussing, I will try to learn Portuguese. Because as you may know, maybe you don't, Metatron Portuguese. I've already tried a few things, like I did a Can an Italian Understand Portuguese, and this one was listening a little bit to several types, including Portuguese, which was actually funny because, you know, you can clearly see the Brazilian flag on the right here behind me, and then a few subscribers from Portugal were like, but why don't you ever show the Portuguese flag? And I'm like, mate, it's on the left, it's here, can you see the red? Like, it's your flag, it's a different hue. I put both, but maybe I should have made myself a little smaller. I suppose next time I'll do it. I tried 6 different Portuguese accents, and then very recently I did an episode called Italian Tries to Learn Portuguese with YouTube videos, and I had a great time doing it. But I tried Brazilian Portuguese, so I'm gonna do the same thing where I'm gonna watch a tutorial, try to repeat it, because these videos here were just me listening. But this new series here with a man holding the headphones, I suppose, in this series I actually try and speak it so that you can make fun of my pronunciation, and that's the idea. So I did this one, Italian Tries to Learn Portuguese, with Brazilian Portuguese, but I am planning on doing very soon the one where I try to do and mimic Portuguese, and then we can also kind of compare them a little bit. But in general, I want to say Portuguese is a fantastic language. I love the way it sounds. As of now, I have had more exposure to Brazilian Portuguese than I've had European Portuguese. So the episode where I try to learn European Portuguese, I'm actually really looking forward to it. Also because being a European, you would think that would be easier for me, but is it going to be? Because up to this point, I believe in my experience that Brazilian Portuguese was easier to understand. As long as I figure out that the way they pronounce the T, the C, the R, once that's explained to me, and I'm like, okay, now I kind of can set my mind up to expect a certain sound, then it's fine. That is why usually when I try to read Portuguese, then you know, I can read it and understand it, but when I listen to it, or when I used to listen to it, I had trouble understanding it because I didn't know that they pronounce certain consonants and certain vowels in a way that I wasn't expecting. But now that I know that, after that was explained to me, it has become a lot easier to actually understand it. Anyways, I hope you'll be looking forward to those videos, which I will be posting very soon. And as always, thank you so much for watching and joining Metatrons Academy. Bye.